So, do you want to start off then? I guess alphabet would be the natural starting point.
In my alphabetical ordered list, yeah.
List.
Alphabet have been running an amazing delivery service during lockdown. I'm actually drinking one of their beers right now, which is called the Subaquatic Getaway, which is a Sabro ale. You can see it in it's not an Alphabet branded glass, but it's a Wonder Beyond branded glass, which is another one for the brewery. And they have they've been servicing all of Manchester through the M60 with a service where if you order before 2 p.m, you get your beers the same day, which is pretty amazing. My boyfriend Rob actually did an order the other day, and he messaged me about it, and the next thing I knew, the beers were there, and I was like,
"Whoa,
crazy!"
That's amazing.
So if you're in real need for some beers and you've run out, yeah, I'd really recommend this service. I believe they also are doing UK-wide delivery as well, which is and you can also get that as next day delivery. It's not free. You do have to pay. I think it's about £6.49 if you want next day delivery. But I think it's a bit cheaper. It's like £3 if you're willing to wait a few more days. And it's been great because they've had a scattering of new releases during the period as well. So I have sampled quite a few of these.
Good stuff. Keep yourself busy.
And I've got some empty cans here as well. So this is Just to Wet the Whistle, which is a Kolsch style beer, which I had sort of more towards the beginning of lockdown. And you can see here is our friend Alex from Alphabet Brewery, who has been recreated in this lovely artwork on this can.
He looks great.
He does.
Very smart.
And they've also been doing they've started increasingly doing some quite interesting sour beers at Alphabet as well. And as you know, I'm a bit of a sour connoisseur myself.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this one, Hook, Lime and Sinker, is a lime and chili goza. And this was particularly nice to be enjoyed when it was the really nice summer weather that we were having a few weeks ago. Very very chilly, a lot of chili flavour coming through on that beer. And so I was going to
say, for those who don't know, a Goza is a German style of beer which is very light and refreshing. It also has a small amount of salt in there as well. I can imagine the salt and the chili would be a fantastic flavour combination.
Yeah,
like a mojito, sweet chili lime. Come on now.
I was actually just going to say something like that. It's quite similar. It's it'd be a beer that would actually pair really well with Mexican food, I think, because it's quite similar to when you have cocktails in a Mexican restaurant, and there's quite often like salt around the room. You definitely get that kind of like kick of saltiness when you're drinking that beer. And more recently, they've brought out some new pale ales. One of which is the Sabro Pale, which I'm drinking at the moment. Which
let's have a look at that again. Let's have a look at that to the camera. Oh, great. And have you got it in the glass?
I do.
Oh, fantastic. That looks really nice. It's a lovely colour.
This is one of my new go-to favourites. Out of the delivery that Rob ordered, I think I've had most of the Sabros so far. And Sabro is it's a new Northwest hop, and it is it adds a quite unique flavour, which I personally find to be quite coconutty. This one from Alphabet, I've only had 2 Sabro Pales before. This one from Alphabet is, I'd say, slightly less coconutty than they can be. I think some people have said that they're not keen on the Sabro taste. I love it.
I'd be interested to try that in maybe a porter or something. You know, that Sabro coconut flavour would be great.
I think that would actually work really well. I feel like Alphabet must have used some other kinds of hops in, like, well, I don't think they have actually. I think it's a single hop beer, but there's still quite a lot of bitterness coming through, along with the slight sweetness. So it makes it a lot more drinkable as a pale ale than I feel like Sabro would probably work quite well in a porter. Anyway, I digress. I've also found during lockdown that I've been ordering lots and lots of like quite mad beers, so like imperial stouts, imperial gozas, various different like wacky sours.
Well, you don't have to get yourself home, so you know. It makes it easier to drink these dangerous beers.
But it has got to the point quite a few times where I've gone down to our cellar where we keep all our beer collection and looked and been like, I really don't want any of this strong stuff today. I just want a sessionable beer that I can chill out in the garden and, you know, not feel like I'm going to feel terrible the next day. And I think Alphabet as a brewery are really good at making those really smashable, you know, sessionable pale ales and IPAs. And I really miss those guys down the brewery.
So Alphabet, sessionable, quirky as well. You got some really interesting beers there, so something a bit interesting, and also real quick delivery too if you're living in Manchester and beyond.
And they do have some really, they've got a lot of their core range on at the moment as well, so things like G Springsteen, Charlie Don't Surf, a lot of their beers that they're quite well known for, but some more interesting stuff, not more interesting but more different than sort of core range,
something a bit unusual. That's really cool. Okay, great. So who's next on your list?
Who's next? So next is BEATNIKZ Republic, which is a brewery that I don't currently have any of their beers in, but I have done a couple of deliveries from them. They have been doing a lot of cask boxes, which a lot of the breweries have been doing during lockdown. So they've been doing 3 litre and 5 litre cask boxes, and also crowler cans for delivery. So basically, crowler cans are like cans that with beer straight from the source, which they're not conditioned to last as long as sort of regular cans. So that's something to bear in mind for if you're ordering those, and the cask boxes as well. Is that
they're filled straight from the keg tap, aren't they, and then sealed. So it's not, you know, it's not normal cans are filled in a environment, which means that not much oxygen is going to get in touch with that beer. There will be a little bit more, obviously, when you're doing a crowler straight from the keg tap. So just be aware to drink it fresh.
They're not meant to last as long, so they recommend like 3 to 5 days. But I did sort of accidentally leave some crowlers for a bit longer than that, and they were fine actually. So hopefully if you do forget, that if you're ordering as much beer as I am at the moment, then you're probably forgetting about some of the stuff you've ordered.
I don't have that luxury right now, but
I'm bored.
Oh no.
But anyway, they were doing more sort of cask boxes and crowlers. But since the first few weeks of lockdown, they have sort of introduced some more of their regular cans as well, which do last longer. So you can order those now as well. The cask boxes and the crowlers are only available for local delivery, which I think is free if you spend, I think it's about £20. If you spend, you'll get free local delivery. And they do that on a Tuesday and a Friday every week. So if you're ordering on a Tuesday, you need to get your orders in by midnight on Sunday. And if you're ordering for Friday delivery, it's midnight on Wednesday. But they are also offering UK-wide delivery for their regular cans, which are obviously the ones that will last longer. So there's some, it makes sense that they wouldn't be trying to transport their cask boxes too far.
Absolutely.
And that they're running that service as well, which I believe is available for £5 delivery. So not too much.
That's fine. So what sort of beers have BEATNIKZ been bringing out recently?
So it's a lot of their kind of core range. So they've had sort of Beach Bum, which is their American pale ale. They've had they've had the gluten-free pale, which is called Boardwalk, I believe. And
that's a great beer. If anyone can't have gluten, that's a fantastic beer. I mean, even if you can indulge in gluten, it's so tasty.
Well, we had ordered a cask box of that, mainly because it was the only one that hadn't sold out at the time, because the cask boxes were selling out quite quickly, particularly at the beginning of the lockdown. So that's the only reason I actually bought it, because I don't need to drink gluten-free beer, but it was great. I bought another beer that I had from them, which was really good, which I got in a crowler, was a raspberry IPA. It was a collab they'd done with Vault City, which was a Scottish brewery who are doing quite a lot of crazy stuff at the moment. Like they made a beer without hops in it. Quite bizarre. And I think they've just brought out a new imperial stout as well, where when you pour it, it looks like chocolate milk.
Oh wow, okay.
They're doing some quite mad stuff, so it was cool to see them collabing with BEATNIKZ, and it was something a bit different. So yeah, I definitely recommend putting in an order with those guys as well. Looking forward to their Northern Quarter bar reopening at some point.
I know. I cannot wait. So we started off doing our tours there. We started off doing our tasting tours there. Shout out to Denny if he's listening. Yeah, miss those guys. Really passionate about what they do. Really passionate about cask beer as well, which I'm enamored with, especially for a sort of a young craft brewery. I think it's great to see them really championing that and giving us some great conditioned beer as well when we go in there. So yeah,
it's really useful for the board, isn't it, as well, because it means that they've got always a wide range of keg beers on, but they also always have, I think, 3 cask beers.
They can do up to 3,
They do up to 3, which means that you've always got that bit of variety, because we always want to try and show people on the tours as many different styles and varieties of beer as possible.
Absolutely.
So that's BEATNIKZ. I think you were going to talk now about Beer Nouveau.
Beer Nouveau. So there's a lot of stuff going on at Beer Nouveau at the moment. Not only is there Beer Nouveau's own beers, we have a click and collect service for a variety of breweries, and also Temperance Street Brewery as well, which may well be Manchester's newest brewery. I don't know.
Don't quote us on that, but it could well be.
I think it might be.
I think it might
be.
So,
I do have here, which I haven't opened yet. I'm feeling quite thirsty. So this is Not Bass. Oh my God, these cameras. There it is. Not Bass, which has got to be one of Steve's the owner, one of his biggest sellers at the moment. Now, this is based on a 1970s recipe of Bass. So sadly, not a Bass that I would have tried back in the day. I have tried Modern Bass. It's a great beer, but this is even better. So can do that embarrassing thing of pouring it and trying not to make an absolute pig's ear of it. Sounds good. That sounds good. So we've got a wonderful colour here. I did write notes down. I haven't brought them with me, of course. There it is. So the beautiful colour there. So that is that lovely amber colour that we are expecting from this style of beer. And yeah. It's just wonderful. It's just such an easy drinking beer. It's like a proper traditional English cask beer with a nice bit of graininess coming through as well. You've got a bit of amber malt in there, just giving you a bit of backbone as well. It's an absolutely delicious beer. I know, as Steve said, this would have been originally an IPA. Bass would have been an IPA. And I think maybe by the time it got to the 1970s recipes, they may have been putting out some of those, that big hot bill and tempering it down a little bit just to make it an easy drinking, readily available cask beer, which would have sold volumes. I mean, Bass was the biggest cask beer in the UK, so in order for it to be that easy to drink, they would have taken some of that hot bill out, I would have imagined. I mean, Steve will probably be shouting at the screen right now correcting me on that. But yeah, it's a very tasty,
regardless.
It's a great beer. It's really tasty, so I could definitely recommend going down and grabbing some of that if you're into your traditional beers. Absolutely fabulous. And then we also have, which is for a bit later on, which will get me squiffy, is damn thing. I will get the hang of it eventually. Satanic Mills. There we go. So this is probably one of the best porters I have tried in recent times. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I'll talk a little bit more about it when it's poured. So yeah, if you pop up to Steve's, his takeaway service is available on a Friday or a Saturday. So you can pop up there. You can get beer straight from the keg and into bottle. He bottles it on site. He's got a CO2 dispenser, so he's able to make sure that stays fresh for as long as possible. He's also got a shiny new toy, which is a canning machine, single canning machine. So he loves doing that. So that's able to again be CO2 flushed and then canning small portions of beer that way. Also, what else do we have going on there? We've got Temperance Street Brewery, so I'm involved in that. I brewed a beer this week and last week. So next Friday, my first beer through Temperance Street Brewery should be available, and that is a West Coast IPA. And we've chocked that full of American hops. It's got quite a nice bitter flavour to it, but then also added a bit of amber malt in there as well, which is giving it a really nice, tasty, rich backbone to it. And then also I've just this week done a single hop Jester English Pale Ale. So single hops the Jester. We haven't tried the Jester yet. We've just had that come in. So I wanted to just try single hop, single malt beer on that one, just see what it's like. And yeah, tastes good so far. So yeah, if you want to try that, get down there.
I've had the beer that you've brewed before with Steve, and it's been pretty good. So
that was good, that one, wasn't it? Yeah. I enjoyed that one. What else do we have? So we've got Click and Collect as well for Runaway Brewery. They've got their mini cakes available there. So you can pre-order those and get those collected up at Steve's as well. And also Tourside this weekend. Sadly, I missed out on the Click and Collect for that. But you could have bought some Tourside beers and gone and collected those this weekend. So I'm not sure if that's a regular thing. I presume so. So yeah, do just keep an eye on Steve or BEATNIKZ's Twitter. And he will put up his details there as to what he has available each week. So yeah,
awesome. Right, so it's back to me. So the next brewery on my list is Blackjack, who are also doing direct local delivery. And I've not actually ordered with them yet until this week, because they've been doing a lot of cask boxes as well, mostly their own beers, but also a lot of beers from other breweries as well. But for some reason I must have been just really off the ball with it for the first few weeks of lockdown. But every single time that they posted their new stuff, I was just, by the time I got on there, most of it had been wiped out. So hence why I've only just managed to get an order from them. But it arrived earlier this week, and I thought I'll just show you this. It came in this cool little, I'll get it right. This cool little bag, branded
I like
bag.
that.
It was nice. So
that's cool.
I'm going to try and reuse those as much as I can, because I like them. And what beers did I get? So I got the British Pub Ale, 4% beer, which I did have one of these shared with my boyfriend last night, and it tasted to me very much like a traditional red ale, which I'm quite a fan of. And it was very, very drinkable, and it was kind of a bit different to a lot of the beers that I've been able to access during lockdown, because it's been more very hop forward, kind of trendy, juicy kind of beers that I've been drinking. But sometimes you just want kind of something quite traditional, and this pub ale is very good. I also got some of the Session IPA from Blackjack.
Nice.
And they've just started canning. They've never been previously people who can brewery that cans beer, but they've been doing so with help from Seven Brothers Brewery.
Fantastic!
They're based in Salford. They've got a bar in Ancoats. So it's nice. It's nice to hear that the breweries are helping each other out during this difficult time. They you have to order by 6 p.m. On the day before they're due to deliver, if you want to get it the next day. But it's a pretty good delivery service, and you can check the local areas that they cover on their website, because they have different days where they deliver. So I think most Manchester postcodes it's Tuesdays, but they also serve like Altrincham, and I think they do some SK postcodes as well, so Stockport. And I think that were you saying, Sarah, before that they do national delivery as well?
I believe so. Yeah, let me just double check. I've got my notes here. Blackjack. Yeah, you do need to check their website to find your delivery day if you do want local delivery. I don't have anything about national delivery here.
Yeah, I think maybe Blackjack aren't doing national delivery at the moment. I think most of the other breweries on my list are, but Blackjack, I don't.
But they are selling a chockload to local. I remember especially when lockdown first started, like trying to get an order through those guys, and it was just, good luck if you got in there quick enough.
It has been quite difficult, but they have obviously since they started canning as well, and they've also started selling kegs on their online store as well. Whereas at first it was more like cast boxes and stuff that didn't last as long. But yeah, it's calmed down a little bit now. So I'd recommend a delivery, and if you make sure you book on the right days, the delivery is very quick as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on to the next one. The next one is Cloudwater.
Fantastic.
Obviously, a very famous Manchester brewery who already had a web shop set up before the coronavirus pandemic, which a lot of the breweries actually didn't have, because it wasn't really, a lot of the breweries didn't really tend to sell so much directly. I think some breweries, but not so much others. So I believe Alphabet had their shop set up before as well, but some of the breweries had to kind of act quite quickly to get things sorted. But yeah, Cloudwater have had a well-established web shop for quite a while, and what I think has been really nice about what they've been doing is they've been supporting a lot of other breweries who don't have a web shop or haven't been able to get things sorted to sell their beer directly to customers. So that's been really nice. So we've already mentioned them once, but Runaway, who are another Manchester brewery who've been selling kegs out of BREWING, they've also been selling their bottles on the Cloudwater bottle shop. So I've managed to get a few of those previously. They've all gone. And another brewery, which is not a Manchester brewery, but is a brewery I quite like, which they're called Boundary, based from Belfast. Cloudwater have also been stocking their beers because the alcohol licensing laws in Northern Ireland are quite different to in the UK. So I don't know the exact sort of complexities of it, but basically it's prevented them from selling directly to their customers. I believe that the law has now changed somewhat. I don't know if it's a temporary thing due to coronavirus or whether it's going to be permanent, but they have managed to set up their own delivery service now as well. But yeah, I just thought it was great that Cloudwater were helping other breweries out in that way. And it also meant that going on their online web shop, there's a wide variety. So you don't just have to get Cloudwater beer. I mean,
that's right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I had a sneaky peek yesterday, and I was astounded by the amount of beers they have. So they also do. I think you've joined in on this, haven't you? A Friday session online.
Yeah, so there's actually one. There's one this evening, which has been organised in collaboration with the Craft Beer Channel.
Okay.
And the Craft Beer Channel have been doing this quite a lot with various breweries, but they've been putting on live streams on Saturday about once a month, I think, during lockdown, and they've sold like beer packs that fans can order to their homes and then watch along, and which I'm actually going to be taking part in tonight, because tonight is the Cloudwater one.
Fantastic.
Which is, I think the pack is mostly Cloudwater beers, but they're also featuring Rock Leopard, which is a London-based brewery as well. And yeah, they've been doing quite a lot of cool stuff during lockdown. Like they've been doing a curry club where they've collaborated with a local street food vendor who would otherwise have been struggling, obviously, during this time. So I think they've done a couple of those. I know they've done one with What's Your Beef, who are another street food trader that do burgers. Yeah, they've been also running a lot of their own events as well, based on sort of special releases that they've done. So I think they did. Great. I think they did a barley wine one at one point.
That sounds like it would have gone downhill quite quickly.
Yeah. we actually chose to opt out of that one because I mean, I do like barley wine, but I don't know how much I can drink of it in one go.
Yeah.
They're pretty strong.
Pretty strong.
But yeah, I think they've been doing local delivery during this time. So similar to a lot of the other breweries, they've been doing set days for different postcodes. So you have to, it's probably best to just go on their website and check the local delivery, because I think they do vary it up a little bit.
Yeah, I did try and write them all down, and then I realised I might be there all day. So definitely, I've got the link. I will put that in the description, as I say. I'll put that on my profile.
Yeah, best
and then you can just click through.
I mean, every time when I've ordered from them, I've just always had to check, because I'm in Levenshulme, but the date isn't always necessarily going to be the same every week. But they've been doing that, and I think it's £1 for local delivery. But they also have a really good nationwide delivery service, which they've had up and running for a while, which I think is via UPS. And sometimes even if you're booking for Manchester delivery, depending on when you booked it and what works for them, they'll sometimes send it out via the UPS, and the delivery's been pretty good when we've received it. It's pretty quick.
They do also offer a fruit and veg box scheme as well, don't they, for local delivery, and also as it is like a meal kit thing. So it's like I can't remember the name of them now, but you get the pre-prepped food and then the how to make it at home. And then you can make the meal at home. Yeah,
they've been doing quite a lot of that as well. So it's worth just following them on their social media if you're interested, because they've been doing a lot of good stuff locally. But even if you're not local, it's always worth checking out their online shop, because
absolutely, as
we said, there's a wide variety of American breweries, Manchester breweries, also UK wide, as well as Cloudwater themselves.
Some great stuff going on.
I found they've been really good at communicating with their customers during this time as well. They are sending out a lot of newsletters if you signed up to their newsletters, and they're quite regularly updating on the welfare of their staff at this time as well, which I think is quite a nice touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from Cloudwater. I feel like I've talked about them for quite a while now. In a bit getting excited. So another brewery, which is actually the brewery closest to where I live in Levenshulme, is First Class Ale.
Yes.
They're based in Reddish, Stockport, which is not down the road from me. And during lockdown, they've been doing. I think they've had to rush to get this ready quite quickly. A really good delivery service, which I believe they're a very small team. There's only 4 people, I think, that work for the brewery. And I think at various different times people have been poorly and self-isolating. So it's been quite difficult, I think, for them to run this service, but they've done it really well. And they've been offering a lot of their own beers, which are very traditional ales. They are usually in bottles like this, large bottles. I really like their Reddish Rye beer that they do. It's probably the best rye ale that I've had. And they also do a Sriracha Ace ale as well, which is a really interesting one. But they've also been more recently adding loads of other breweries to their brew shop. So Torside, you mentioned earlier.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
So they're obviously doing the pop-up at BREWING this weekend, but their beers have also been available on the First Class Ale website. And very aptly, they've had a beer available on their shop, which is one of their own during lockdown, called Don't Panic. It feels quite relatable. Maybe
absolutely.
Not, but definitely. And they offer free local delivery if you spend over £25. And if you look on their shop now, there's a huge variety, including cast boxes as well.
Oh, fantastic! So the cast boxes, just to retrack on those. So for people, you don't have one in front of you, do you? I do have one downstairs.
I have come in carb in a bit, but unfortunately not a cast box at the moment. But I kind of went for
listening. Bring it up. But it's a cardboard box, and inside is kind of like there's the camera. Inside it's like a plastic bladder, which is filled straight up from the cask at the bar, and then transported to your home. So yeah, it does have to be drunk quite quickly. But generally they come in 5 litre and 10 litre sizes, don't they? I found between 2 of us, we got through the 5 litre fairly swiftly. So
5 litre, I think I worked it out before. Is it about 8.5 pints?
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah.
Obviously 10 litre, you double that, like 17-ish pints.
Well, now we're having more people around. We're allowed to have more people around, and we're allowed to have home barbecues and things like that. I can see that option will definitely be a lot more attractive to people.
Definitely. BEATNIKZ have been doing 3 litre ones as well if people do want to get one a bit smaller.
That's a great idea.
And
for those home brewers out there, you can Apparently you can reuse them. I haven't tried it myself yet, but I just cut a corner of mine, emptied it out. I'm going to sterilize it, and then I've got a vacuum sealer which has got a heat seal, so I can reseal that corner there. So I may be able to do a small batch of kind of cask beer, kind of cask beer when I do some home brews. So that would be interesting.
Nice. And yeah, for anyone who does decide to buy one, they're a bit misleading because sort of towards the end, when you're getting maybe to the last like couple of pints out of it, you do sort of have to adjust them a little bit to kind of make sure you're getting the last bits out of there, because the tap won't just come out of the tap if it's getting towards the end. And yeah, you do have to. It's quite difficult at that point to actually pour one yourself. You might need some help from someone, which I think I did.
Do you feel a bit desperate at that point? It's like,
yeah. You want to get the most out of it, don't you? At the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the last brewery on my list today, I think you might have another one to talk about, but
yeah, I've got a couple more to talk about. We weren't able to get actual beers from.
So the last brewery on my list is Track, which is another Manchester favourite, of course, and they've been offering a great delivery service and beer selection via their web shop, including some exciting new releases, but also they've also been doing a wide variety of different ways of ordering their classic pale ale, Sonoma, which is just a great low percentage pale ale. I towards the beginning of lockdown, I got some cask boxes of Sonoma. I don't think they're currently doing them. That's not to say that they're not going to do them again. But every time they've launched them, they've sold out like really quickly. So that's worth just keeping an eye out in case they do them again. They've also been offering a Sonoma subscription service as well. So
yes, I saw that.
I think it's about £60.
It's 60 quid, yeah.
And you can get, I think it's 24 cans. Maybe 48 cans a month delivered to your door. And also,
yeah,
you can order kegs.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello. There it is. Fabulous.
So
how much is in there?
So this is a 5 litre keg. And I think it was £29. So it is more expensive getting the keg version of Sonoma than getting the cask. I think when we got the 5 litre cask boxes, it was like £12.50 for 5 litres.
That's so cheap.
Really cheap.
That's extremely cheap.
So you do pay a bit more of a premium to get the keg beer. But I don't know. I've been going through different phases during lockdown. I've been going through phases where I'm desperate for cask. I feel like I'm now in a phase where I'm craving keg beer a lot more. They've been offering both people throughout. But yeah, it's worth just signing up to Track's newsletter if you are interested in ordering from them, because they will update you on the new releases, and stuff can sell out quite quickly.
I was going to say, yeah, I had a sneaky peek yesterday, and there was a lot of stuff sold out.
Yeah,
because they're so good, though. They are so good.
They are great. And they've not, unlike some of the other breweries, they've not been having like loads and loads and loads of different stuff on at the same time. It's been mostly Sonoma, which seems to be on there consistently in one form or the other. Then lots and lots of new releases, which just go really quick. I did manage to get this.
I was going to say, yeah, you told me about this.
Which is called The Boy in the Bubble, and it's a collab with McKellar.
I'm so jealous. That looks amazing.
A triple fruited goza with mandarin, passion fruit, and coconut, and it is 9%. So you'll be pleased to know I did only order one of these. Me and my boyfriend will share at some point. But they've been doing quite a lot of interesting imperial gozas recently. I
remember the ones where they used to have all when we used to go there for our tours, and they were incredible. It's so easy to drink, and some of them are like, I think, stronger than 9% as well.
Yeah,
they're really like 11% and dangerous.
They're very dangerous. They've really upped their game though with their sour beers. I feel like when Track the first few years Track were around, it felt like they were very, very fruity, hoppy pale ales, IPAs. That was more sort of the dominant stuff that they put out, and they still do a lot of that, and they do it really well. But yeah, they've been really up in their sour game. Recently.
Oh, any sign of what's the lemon one? I've forgotten the name of it now. It's been so long.
Oh, I can't remember, but they didn't.
That was gorgeous, and that ended up being part of their core range for a while. But sadly, I haven't seen it for a while now, so maybe that is going to come back at some point.
I did once make the mistake though of ordering. They did a peach sour at one point, and I made the mistake of asking my tasting tour group at the time. I said, "Anyone here like sour beers?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, I like sour beers." And in their head, I probably should have unpacked it a bit more, but I think in their heads they were thinking, "Yeah, I like sour sweets. I like sour Haribos.
Sure.
You know, sour stuff's good." And then I went and got them all like a third of this peach sour beer, and I think maybe one other person other than me liked it. And it was a bit of
an acquired taste.
Yeah.
The Lipari sour, that's it. So on my tours, I've had many people who, maybe they don't like beer, they're not that keen on beer, and then we stop off at Track and they try Lipari sour, which was this gorgeous. It was akin to a sort of a Sicilian lemonade, but with booze. Really, really tasty, really refreshing, and the amount of people who I've had carrying away 6 packs of that who don't like beer, it's like fantastic. My job is done here. Thank you. No, really, really good beer.
Really good. Well, I'll have to let you know what this is like once I have it.
Yeah, they shine with those sorts of things, absolutely.
Yeah, and they also included a nice little postcard with postcard. Because I'm talking about postcodes quite a lot. They have included a nice little postcard in our last delivery as well, which was just saying a nice thank you, and it had like some of their artwork on it, and I just thought it was quite a nice touch.
That's sweet.
To the delivery experience. And I think it shows really how breweries have had to really adapt quickly to the new state of play during lockdown. And I think that they are very grateful for how customers have continued to support them during this time. And we too are grateful to be able to access, high quality beer delivered to our doors still. And I think it'll be interesting once lockdown starts easing further, whether this is here to stay now, people ordering beers as well as going to their local breweries and tap rooms and enjoying sort of the atmosphere and the experience. I do wonder if there will still be an element of, people ordering, more beer to their home.
I think so. I hope so. I think as well, like having more experiences. So another brewery I wanted to talk about as well, who I caught yesterday on a live stream, was Seven Brothers, who do some fantastic stuff. So they're most noted for their collabs with Kellogg's, the cereal manufacturer. So apparently, I did catch the story behind that, which I'm quite grateful for. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the 2 tour guides who let us know about that. They were very, very good. But apparently they sneaked in some cornflakes into one of their beers once. And then Kellogg's gave them the call, and they thought, oh my God, we're in trouble. We're going to get told off for this. But apparently not. Kellogg's came around and were like, we would love to collab with you on making a beer. And basically they recycle, use cereals that otherwise would have been going to waste. Obviously food safe ones, they're just excess to requirements. So they're using my personal favorite is the Cocoa Pops one, which they're using in a stout. That's gorgeous.
I think they have Rice Krispies as well. I think Rice Krispies and cornflakes.
Yeah, and the cornflakes one. All fantastic beers. But yeah, they're worth checking out. So weekly they're doing, on a Friday evening, they're doing a great stream. So yeah, you can order tasting packs from their website, get those delivered to you, and then you can try them along with the tour guides there. Doing virtual tours around the brewery as well. Next week they're doing a beer and food pairing event as well. Not quite sure how that's working, but that sounds really interesting. And then I think the week after, one of the tour guides is a home brewer too, so they're doing a Q&A about home brewing. Amazing. Just generally talking about techniques and stuff like that. So yeah, really interesting content coming from those guys.
I didn't know they were doing all that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. I know. I came across it yesterday. Like, damn, I've missed so much. But yeah, they're doing some really interesting stuff. Let me see if I can find. Of course, I can't find their details now. Here we go. Seven Brothers. So yes. So not so much on the local delivery, but they already did have quite a substantial web shop in place. So they do the UK wide delivery, and they did say they did on their website. They mentioned brewery pickup, and I'm not sure if that's just a hangover from pre-lockdown stuff in place, or whether or not they still offer brewery pickup. I would double check that.
Yeah, some breweries I think have been offering it to some extent.
Yeah.
I think there was a period where they were offering pickup, and then it stopped for a while, and I think it's starting to pick up a little bit again now. Obviously, that they're weighing up the risks and making sure that they're able to do it in a safe way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think First Class Ale actually have been offering pickup at the brewery as well.
And interestingly, the Seven Brothers will be opening a tap room in Liverpool soon.
Oh,
which I just found out about yesterday. So yeah, much looking forward to once I get the Liverpool tours started again. I'm hoping that they're going to be near my tour route, so we can pop in. That would be great.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, that'd be really useful. So some other breweries of note are lovely friends at Manchester Union Lager, who I miss dearly as well. So
have a crowdfunder open. I think they've actually reached their target, but you can still donate to it, and they are looking to start canning their lager.
That's right.
Which I think is going to be available from July. So yeah, please, if you're interested, go and support those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing crowdfunding. One of the crowdfunding amounts as well, if you pledge over a certain amount, you get a Manchester Union Lager mini fridge filled with cans, which is very exciting. I would like one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth. And also Seven Brothers have just reopened their crowdfunding as well. So again, they're doing some great things. They're really ramping things up. So if you want to get involved and join the family, as they say, it is actually Seven Brothers who run the brewery. So if you want to join that already large family.
And don't they have four sisters as well, don't they, that run like a gin distillery?
Yeah, they're next door. Yeah. So
big family.
I mean, big family of, I mean, God knows what their house is like over Christmas time. It must be crazy. But yeah, Manchester Union Lager. So they are doing delivery, obviously not cans at the moment, but they are doing growlers. Growlers are, for those who don't know, are bottles like this. So flip top bottles. So generally they're purged with CO2, and then you put in the beer afterwards. It's an American thing, of course. So yeah, you can get those to 2 litres though. So that was only a litre, so it's double that size. £20 for the first fill, which is the deposit, £10 deposit for the growler as well, and then £10 afterwards. So that's about just over about £2.50 a pint-ish.
I think the way they're doing it is, if you have already got a growler, they're dropping a new one off to you and then taking the other one back when they're delivering.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Which makes total sense.
Yeah.
So delivery on a Thursday. Deliveries on Fridays, and get your order in before 9 p.m. on a Thursday to get that. It's £2 for the delivery charge. So yeah, lovely fresh lager. I mean, I think, dare I say, obviously Manchester's only dedicated craft lager brewery, but obviously the best at their craft is that as well. Absolutely fantastic Czech style pilsners coming from those guys.
Yeah, brilliant. They really know what they're talking about when it comes to lager, and they've been a great addition since they joined our tours. We were looking for another brewery for a while, actually, weren't we, to sort of fit into the route, because we used to go to Track Brewery, but then they sort of opened as a tap room instead. So we wanted to, for the microbrewery tour in particular, we wanted to make sure we were going to, actual microbreweries, and Manchester Union opened and really fitted the bill, because it adds a different element to the tour, I find, because lager is a completely different bag, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So
it's quite interesting, because we have a mixed bag of people coming on the tours, and the people who love lager, they get to try real ale or just ales in general, and a wide variety of those. And then we have a lot of people who are staunchly real ale, cask beer, and they don't really, they're hard line on lagers, but actually once they try Manchester Union Lager, they are generally blown away. And also we get to try the dark lagers too there on normally, or dark or red lagers. We don't generally have a bit of variety over at Manchester Union, and they're fantastic.
They tend to at least have the dark and the light lager on, don't they? I mean, I say recently, but it's not been that recently. But they've also had they did a beer for Oktoberfest as well, which was really good. And they have the red lager as well. The Rod.
That blew me away. I really enjoyed that beer.
That's a really good beer.
Great beer. Almost strawberry, summer fruit. But then the colour of autumn, it came out in autumn time, didn't it? And it was just like, this is the perfect beer for this season.
Definitely. And I actually really try and quite heavily push the dark lager on people as well on the tours. Not sort of obviously in an aggressive way, but I
drink this.
But I try and get them to try it, because I actually really like the dark lager, and I think for a lot of the people that come on our tour, it's not necessarily something that they would have tried before.
I would say 9 out of 10 people are surprised that lager is like that. Yeah,
it's good.
Which I like. I like blowing people's minds on things like that. It's fun.
Definitely. So yeah, once we can do so safely, make sure you get yourselves down to Manchester Union.
While I'm having a look at my notes, I'll just open the Satanic Meals from BREWING. Again, great art. Oh, hang on, I'm not on your camera. I can't see if you can see me. There we go. Great artwork again, which is actually produced by Steve, the owner.
Talented. He was also an author.
He's a multi-talented man. Yeah. So absolutely stunning, like sucking light from the room. Beer there. I mean, he's famous already for his Peterloo, sorry, not Portaloo. Oh, I always get that wrong. His Peterloo porter, but this is a lot richer. It's got a lot more going on, a lot more layers going through, more multi-backbone. It's chocolatey, it's rich. You've got that grainy flavour coming through, which I really like as well. I'm just blown away that he could brew a beer like this with Manchester's water. I've been trying to brew dark beers on my own homebrew kit and been like, right, I've got to start messing with the water profile, blah, blah, blah. But he's managed to do it just through his skill. So great, good for him. Right, Blackjack, Manchester Union Lager. We've got Brightside Brewing as well, who I've not tried. Now this is available via the brew2u.co.uk app. Which also works through your browser as well. There's Brew2U app, sorry, and then the brew2u.co.uk is the web store. Now, this is run by CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale, and they've allowed a lot of local breweries and tap rooms and pubs to sell through their app to do delivery services and collection services as well. So that's a great thing to download. As I said, we weren't going to cover pubs and tap rooms today, but if you did want to have a quick look-see at that, that's a great idea. And we've also got the Crown and Kettle on there as well. So I can definitely recommend you hit up those guys and see what they're up to. So with Brightside Brewing, delivery can be arranged, but collection is encouraged. So collection within 1 hour of confirmation of your confirmation email, you can go pick up your beers from those guys on a Friday and a Saturday. Wonder Beyond as well, another one of my favourite beers, their favourite breweries. They are famous for their lactose or milkshake IPAs, which are really, really tasty, quite strong. They do a range of very, very strong beers and then very, very low ABV beers. Not a lot in between, but every beer is astounding. So yeah, definitely check those out. wonderbeyondbrewing.com/shop. Now that's just like a normal courier delivery, so that's a nationwide delivery on that. Squawk we haven't covered, and again I miss those guys massively. So
some of their beers have been available via the Cloudwater online
store. Have nothing on there at the moment, so I'm not sure what's going on, whether or not they've been able to brew. Again, love their beers. Their porters are great. Their dark beers are fantastic. They do great barrel aging program as well. Yeah, just again, every single beer I have from those guys is absolutely perfect. So, well, she'll see. Now, Shindigger have been rocking, I think, most people's worlds with their delivery. So they promised within 3 hours. My friend who lives in Wythenshawe, I told him about Shindigger's delivery service. He lives in Wythenshawe, and he got it within 45 minutes.
Wow.
His beer delivery. So
I think
pretty astounding.
They're based central as well, so
they're central, yeah. So they cuckoo brew. They don't have a brewery of their own, but their warehouse is in the centre of Manchester, just opposite the Smithfield Tavern. So just by the Crown Kettle, that sort of area. So yeah, they're pretty centrally located, which is really good, and it's cold as well. So I think they've got it must be a cold chain warehouse there. But yeah, every delivery seems to arrive ice cold within an hour, 2 hours. Well, they say 3 hours, but yeah, it seems to be coming quicker than that, which is just blowing everyone's minds. And they've just launched in Liverpool as well. So
it almost feels too
if
good.
you want beer fast, Shindigger are what you want to be looking at, and great beer too. Tasty, really tasty beer. Yeah, tasty IPAs, fruity beers. Yeah. So we've got Marble as well. Their stuff is available over their website, free delivery over £35, and they're doing mini kegs as well as their usual can and bottle collection. And of course, Panoma Island too. They're also stocking beers from the Gaslamp pub too. So the Gaslamp pub is one of my favourite pubs in central Manchester, and
Gateway.
I miss that place.
It's a great pub. I've actually got a Pomona Island Imperial Russian Stout downstairs in my beer collection. We've not had it yet, but I've not actually put in an order with them directly yet. But their beers seem to be, they're so popular at the moment. They seem to be sort of in every bottle shop, or
they're doing some wonderful beers. And if you're up early and you fancy a beer, so if you are up early and you put your order in before 10 a.m, you will get it the same day. Wow. It requires some forward thinking, possibly before your first coffee of the day.
Yeah.
Which, interesting thought. Yeah. But yeah, and also UK wide, cut off by 12 p.m, you should be getting that beer within 24 to 48 hours. So cool. UK wide. So yeah, lots of options. Incredible amount of options for beer in Manchester at the moment.
Spoilt for choice, really.
Thank you everyone for watching, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Have a great weekend.
Yes. Happy weekend, everyone. Chat soon. Bye.
Bye.
I don't have much left, but cheers.